Hello everyone, and we are meeting today with a new type of videos as per the recommendation of NMC National Medical Council, which is known as competency based medical education. And in that, for pathology practical, there is something known as OSPE, which is abbreviation for objective structured practical examination. Now, what is this pattern? Let us understand. Uh, in this new pattern, there is a modified division of the practical marks. The practical examination total will be of 100 marks, and in that, the distribution wise, you can see there are 32 marks for the OSPE in column A. While you can also note that the total marks are 100, including gross specimen viva and clinical and hematology viva of 15 marks each. Then there is a marked change in urine exercise. Previously used to have the test tube heating, etc. for the urine exercise at table work. However, now you will be given a urine result, result of the case. You have to read the uh, test report and do the clinical diagnosis. In other words, this is now clinical oriented study, clinical scenario based studies. However, in aspect of the uh, practical examination, it is like our previous spotters or spots, and they have divided that OSPE stations for 32 marks as shown here. There will be a clinical chart interpretation for 5 marks. So, case studies will be given. Clinical chart interpretation of CSF results. So, CSF analysis will be given and you have to put the diagnosis. Clinical chart interpretation of hematology. Again, some case history and the values or laboratory results will be given. You have to correlate and come at the diagnosis. Like in the past, there will be slides of hematology and histopathology. This is for spot. So in addition, there would be the slides for histopathology slide as a table work separate. And then there would be specimens for 6 marks in which the instruments or tubes may be kept. So with this background, request you to subscribe to the channel with CBME pattern. If you are searching on YouTube, it is Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh Pathology, and you will get all the videos. The playlist include 2 rapid revision of pathology which have been well received by all the students. And now we are starting this series of pathology practical CBME pattern, competency based medical education pattern. Please like our videos, press the bell icon, and you are requested to put your comments so that we can improve upon our next uh, forthcoming videos as per CBME pattern. So let us start with the instruments. The first group is vacuum Now vacuum are the blood collection tubes composed of sterile glass or plastic. These are test tubes with colored rubber stop, and they have vacuum in the inside. The vacuum within the tube facilitates drawing of the blood, and it is when you do the venipuncture, the blood flows easily, and so this is close transportation of the blood, so no uh, sepsis or contamination can occur. The color of the top is important, and that is how you have to identify the vacutainer or select the tube for a particular investigation. Let us start. Now this is a tube which is having a lavender color cap or top. This is EDTA tube. Now the question will be identify and mention the contents or uses. This is EDTA because of the color of the cap or the top. EDTA means ethylene diamine tetraacetate, which is an anticoagulant. As you know, in coagulation factors, factor 4 is calcium. Now, EDTA chelates the calcium so that the blood doesn't clot, and the EDTA acts as anticoagulant. Depending upon the molecular constitution, EDTA vacutainer may be K3 or K2 or sodium salt containing EDTA. What is the proportion of the EDTA to the blood? It is 1.8 milligrams of EDTA per 1 ml of the blood. So accordingly, you have to collect the correct amount of the blood in the vacutainer. What are the uses? Now remember, EDTA tube is the most frequently used tube in any clinical pathology or hematology laboratory because it is used for hemogram. So multi-parameters are there in hemogram like WBC, total differential count, platelet count, RBC count, ESR, Coombs test. For reticulocyte count also we use EDTA tube. For hemoglobin electrophoresis, EDTA vacutainer is taken. So also it is used for HbA1c investigation, which is a parameter for control of diabetic patients. Now this one is a vacutainer or tube having blue top. This is citrate tube. Citrate tube contains 3.8% of trisodium citrate in liquid form. Uses of the citrate tube are mainly in the uh, coagulation studies, and the tests are PT, prothrombin time, APTT, activated partial thromboplastin time test. Next is TT, thrombin time test or D-dimer test. D-dimer test, you must have recently heard of that in corona pandemic. Also, the citrate tube is used for ESR by Western green method. You can use a blue cap tube, or some people in some laboratories specifically they use black top citrate tube. But for all these investigations, you need 3.8 trisodium citrate as the anticoagulant. Now this is a tube having gray top, and this is fluoride tube. Fluoride tube contains sodium fluoride and potassium oxalate. Now, fluoride inhibits the glycolytic enzyme. So, if you put the blood outside the body, the glucose content start reducing. So, glucose glycolytic process is inhibited by sodium fluoride. So, it is used for blood plasma sugar levels. So, fluoride tube, blood plasma sugar levels. Next is red cap or red top tube, which is plain tube. Plain means it has no contents, it is empty. So that if you collect the blood in that, there is no anticoagulant, the blood clots, and what you get is a clot and the serum. So this is used for all serological investigations. So various types of serological investigations used are LFT, liver function test. As you know, bilirubin, direct, indirect, alkaline phosphatase level, and then ALT, AST. So these are some of the liver function tests. You can enumerate. RFT, renal function test. You also need a sample in the plain bulb, like serum creatinine, then lipid profile. You need to do the HDL, VLDL, and so on. Thyroid function test. In other words, whatever the test which requires serum as the sample, you collect the blood in plain tube. Now, what is this tube? Actually, I have done a detailed video on these tubes and needles. You can go through for the purpose of Viva. This is for identification. Now, this tube actually is the one tube, but it has got double markings on two sides as depicted by the red arrow and the blue arrow. And the markings are different. So, what is this tube? This is a Winthrop tube and it has got two markings. Now the red markings are for ESR. So there are two uses of the Winthrop tubes. One is for the estimation of ESR and second is for PCV or packed cell volume. For ESR, the markings are from top 0 to 10 at the bottom, while for PCV, it is reverse markings top at the 10 and it is white colored and at the bottom you have 0. This tube also can be used for the preparation of Buffy coat, which we need for some special investigations like identification of parasites, concentrations, then certain subleukemic leukemias, early cell phenomena, and so on. Again, this is a long tube. There is a video on this in detail. This is having both the ends, upper end and lower end, as open, and markings are up to 300 mm. So this is Western green pipette or tube. Western green pipette is used for ESR sedimentation rate, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, which is more accurate than Winthrop's method. However, Winthrop's method has got advantage of getting two investigations done in one go like ESR and PCB. The normal values by Western green method for ESR in females it is 0 to 10 millimeters at the end of first hour. In males it is 0 to 20 millimeters at the end of first hour. The anticoagulant used is, as I told you, trisodium citrate 3.8% with weight to volume ratio of 3.8. Yes, this is very easy. This is WBC pipette. WBC pipette can be identified by the bead that is there in the bulb, as it is shown by the yellow arrow. Now this white bead in the pipette helps for the mixing of the blood with the diluting fluid. If you shake the pipette and the bead is not moving, then it is probably wet. So you let it dry and then collect the sample. The markings on the tube are 0.5, 1 and 11, so that the dilation factor is 1 into 20, because the blood up to 0.5 volume remains in the stem and does not take part in the dilution. Uses of the WBC pipette: very easy WBC count with the normal range of 4,000 to 10,000 per cubic millimeter. But also this is used for other cell counts in the body fluids like CSF, pleural fluid, ascitic fluid. Also you can use this pipette for sperm count and platelet count. Next is self-explanatory. The arrow depicts a red bead, so it is for the RBC count, RBC pipette. RBC pipette or pipette, as it is called by some, is used for RBC count, and also when the WBC count is very high in leukemias and the sperm counts which are high, you use RBC pipette. The bulb contains red bead and the markings vary from WBC pipette. The markings here are 0.5, 1 and 101, so that the dilution factor is 200. Next, this is a sturdy, short, strong needle, and the question will be identify and mention the parts. Yes, it is Sala's bone marrow aspiration needle, and its parts are needle, blue arrow, stylet, red arrow, and the guard or the screw as shown by the yellow arrow. The guard is to control the depth of insertion, how deep we are putting the needle in the bone. So you can control so that it doesn't go much deeper and harm the uh, deeper organs. Yes, this is also used for bone marrow studies, and this is Jamshedi needle for bone marrow biopsy. So with this needle you can actually perform biopsy as well as aspiration, and also take imprint smear from the core of tissue you get. The sites for the bone marrow biopsy are posterior superior iliac spine, anterior superior iliac spine, and spinous processes of vertebrae. The manubrium sterni is a preferred site for the Salas or bone marrow aspiration needle. Next question that is frequently asked is, how do you collect sample of bone marrow in pediatric practice? The answer is in infants. The upper portion of the tibia or tibial tuberosity is the site for bone marrow aspiration. These are very slender, long, disposable needle, and this is lumbar puncture needle or LP needle. This is used for CSF examination, indications, diagnostic and therapeutic. So diagnostic indications include cases of meningitis. Now you can mention, of course, acute pyogenic meningitis and tuberculous meningitis, etc. Then subarachnoid hemorrhages, spinal tumors. Therapeutically, you can use this needle for injecting chemotherapeutic drugs in oncology practice. And in anesthesia, also you use it for giving anesthetics. And in radiology, for injecting radio opaque dye and doing further imaging studies. So there are several uses of this lumbar puncture or LP needle. Yes, identify and mention uses. So this is Wim Silverman liver biopsy needle. Wim Silverman liver biopsy needle. Now it has got three parts: cannula, stylet, and bifid needle. See, the arrow shows bifid needle and it is longer than the stylet. The uses of Wim Silverman biopsy needle are evaluation of the jaundice. So suspected cases of jaundice after biochemical and clinical studies, we recommend biopsy in cases of jaundice to evaluate the type of viral infection. So whether it is a hepatitis B virus or hepatitis C virus, and what is the stage, active stage. So you can diagnose viral hepatitis and its subtypes. Then liver cirrhosis for typing of the cirrhosis and progression of the disease. Storage diseases like glycogen storage disease, hemochromatosis, that means iron deposits with cirrhosis. Wilson's disease, copper metabolism affecting and leading to liver cirrhosis. Evaluation neoplastic lesions. There may be primary liver cell carcinoma or metastatic liver cell carcinoma. You can identify by taking the core of the uh, tissue, which is done oftentimes by under the image guiding. That means under the ultrasound. Pyrexia of unknown origin. Sometimes you do the liver biopsy and get the diagnosis like in disseminated tuberculosis, sarcoidosis, at times leishmaniasis. Contraindications for Wim Silverman's liver biopsy is an important question. Hedated cyst. A case of hedated cyst diagnosed on radiology, you should be very careful about the liver biopsy. If there is a obstructive jaundice by biochemical parameters, in other words, raised alkaline phosphatase and other clinical parameters, you suspect obstructive jaundice, and don't do liver biopsy because it will lead to biliary peritonitis. Then the bleeding disorders and prolonged prothrombin time are also contraindications for liver biopsy. Now these instruments, one or two I am showing, are not used, they are outdated because there are other modalities, better things have evolved. However, sometimes it may be kept. So for just for the completion, now this is instrument is urinometer for specific gravity of the urine. Now this urinometer has got weight, this is the float, and this is the stem. The stem is marked, has got markings, and the instrument is calibrated at the 20 degrees Celsius. What is the significance of this? because you have to know the room temperature at which you are estimating the specific gravity of the urine, and for every 3-degree rise above 20 degrees you have to add 0.001, while if the room temperature is low, below 20, for every 3 degrees you subtract 0.001 in the reading. So this may be asked in the Viva. Normal range for specific gravity from random sample, it is 1.003 to 1.030. For 24-hour urine sample, it is 1015 to 1025. The important question is when the specific gravity is fixed at 1010, which is known as isostenuria. So specific gravity is fixed because of the renal tubules have lost their function of dilution and concentration in certain chronic renal diseases. So chronic renal failure, you get fixed specific gravity. Now I'll be dealing with the charts of the urine examination and how to conclude for the diagnosis or decipher the diagnosis from the urine report, and next video probably is on that. This is the blood bank in transfusion medicine. Transfusion medicine is itself is a big subject, but this is just identify this is single blood bank. There may be double or triple blood bank, and they can ask in Viva several questions on blood banking and transfusion medicine. But as a spotter, you have to identify this as a blood bank and mention the contents. What is the content? It is CPDA, that is citrate phosphate dextrose adenine. This is simple, and if you want to go to the details of what is CPDA, it is here. In the label itself it is written, but in examination you fail to understand and concentrate on this aspect. So remember, blood bag contains anticoagulant CPDA. Yes, you know this. Identify and mention uses. It is improved Neubauer chambers. Improved because previously there were 16 squares, but now in improved there are 25 small squares in the center, and the large corner squares are for the WBC count, and you can use this Neubauer chamber for sperm count AEC. That means absolute eosinophil count, and the central squares can also be used for the platelet count. So uses various counts: RBC count, WBC count, sperm count, absolute eosinophil count, and platelet count. This is a mold, the two blocks which are known as Leucard's mold. These are metal molds used for uh, block making with molten wax in the tissue processing, what is known as embedding. So these two blocks can be adjusted as per the size of the tissue. Tissue is kept in the center, and then the molten wax is added, and then the paraffin block is prepared. Now there are other methods, newer methods, and this is less frequently used in only few laboratories. So with this, I just conclude the rapid review of instrument may be kept as OSPI. However, please await our next videos for clinical charts and be prepared for the modified pattern of the examination. Thank you very much.